a losing environment, the winner's going to stay a winner just because that's their nature. That's who they are all the way inside. Andrew McCutchen has been a winner trapped with the Pirates for a long time. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins that I hope you'll additionally check out. Guardians 5, Pirates 4 in 10 innings yesterday at PNC Park. Cleveland completes the sweep. The Pirates fall to 8-15. That is dead last in the National League Central. It's one of the worst records in Major League Baseball. And on top of that, they've now got to fly out to the West Coast where they aren't exactly all that efficient over the past, couple decades or so. Next two opponents out there will be the Angels and the Dodgers. After that, they'll come home and play the Cubs and the Padres, with both of those teams holding first place in their respective divisions. So, yeah, it's not exactly looking like this is the year. Cutch continues to do what he's done. He hasn't been great to start out. He's batting .231, .679 OPS. Had an RBI double yesterday, but he also hasn't been appearing consistently in games for some psycho reason. And he brought that issue into public light himself over the weekend in responding to a social media post that showed the Pirates lineup for that day, along with Derek Shelton's explanation that Cutch was getting a day off. That's in quotation marks. And Cutch just replied, quote, "day off," end quote, with one of those eyebrow-raised emojis. Now, he took that down between Saturday and Sunday, but when he showed up at the ballpark early in the morning, Jose Negron, one of our beat writers at DK Pittsburgh Sports, was one of two reporters waiting to speak with him about this. He touched on a number of topics. I can't recommend strongly enough going and finding the article at dkpittsburghsports.com. But the part that jumped out at me came when Cutch was asked what it's like to be playing in this atmosphere at PNC Park, where, for the most part, in the early going, when things have gone south, fans have started chanting, "sell the team." This was Cutch's response.
Where they're coming from, but I've been here long enough, so I get it. I just need it for the guys who haven't been a part of it, haven't been here very long. Guys just getting here. They're kind of like, man, these people seem pretty upset, now they have to go out there and try to perform and do well while there's this cloud, over the team, and it's like, dude, obviously everyone's trying their best, and it's tough when you got still the team chance going on. You're trying to go out there and compete and do well. It's just hard, no matter what, man. You got all that going on around you while you're trying to focus on one thing and do well. It's hard, trying to filter out the negative and trying to focus on yourself in that moment. It's tough.
A cloud over this team. That was his terminology. You have to understand, when Cutch is doing this sort of thing, he is not the, hey, I'm trying to say something to get so-and-so fired type. He's never been that. He's never going to be that. Certainly not in what might be his final year of Major League Baseball. But he does want to win. Why? He's a winner. How can I say that so casually when he's been, part of the Pirates for the overwhelming portion of his career? It's because I've seen what he's like when he's a winner. So have you. So has everyone. We've seen how comfortable he is in a winning skin. We've seen that he was the one that brought the fans to the blackout for the wild card game, wearing what they did, revved up the way they were. We saw just a few days ago, he was the one that went out and got those fighting necklaces for the rest of his team to try to, get off the schneid offensively and get them feeling a little bit lighter about life and baseball and everything else. And they went and they scored 10 runs. And that's where Cutch is comfortable. This isn't. And he's never been that, to his credit. And that's what I'm hoping everybody understands about the remarks that he made in his interview with us, the social media post that he put out before that. He's not looking to stir up trouble. He's looking to win. And in his eyes, as someone who puts on the uniform, takes the glove out to the field or takes the bat into the box, whatever the case might be, his only interest is how do these chants that this crowd is doing, as much as I understand it and I get it and all the other stuff that you heard him say, how do they affect our chances of winning this game that's being played right now in which I'm participating? How do they affect some new guy, like you also heard him say, who's just shown up in Pittsburgh? Maybe they just got promoted from Indianapolis. Maybe they came off waivers, whatever else. How do they affect that player has no earthly clue as to what's happening in the crowd. And later in this interview, when Cutch was asked what message would he share with the public himself, what would he want to say to those fans, he said to the fan base, it's I understand. When I hear it, as much as I hate it, as much as I hate to hear it, I also understand. So I want to do my best to perform because I'm not trying to end my career losing. And I'll tell you that right now. I don't want to end my career with hats off and I lost. That's just not how I picture things going. I'm going to bear down as much as I can individually. I'm going to do my job individually and help in any way that I can because that's all you can do. You can sit here and mope and complain and cry about it, or you can go out there and do something about it. That's what I'm going to try to do. You know who says stuff like that? Winners. Even in a circumstance like this. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q, it really isn't a J1Q. I just got so much feedback over the weekend. And most of them, if I'm going to be honest with you, were really just comments, criticisms, assessments of this or that about the Pirates. Some were questions, some weren't. I'm just going to read 3 of them for you randomly. Joseph asked, is there any amount of ineptitude that'll get the manager and the GM fired during the season? Joseph, I mean, the only way I could answer that one and keep a straight face is to say no, because we're now not talking about 8 and 15. We're talking about 5+ years of this. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. This team isn't any better than the 2019 team. This farm system isn't any better than the 2019 farm system. And they're still employed. They're still getting on that plane today, flying out to L.A. Wilbur, this one's a little bit longer, but Wilbur's stuff is always worthwhile. Wilbur says, Cutch makes a good point. The players who've just gotten to Pittsburgh probably aren't all looking through the last 30 years on Baseball Reference to see what exactly has the fans so fed up. I can understand them being puzzled, at least a bit. What's far less understandable is Ben Cherington and Derek Shelton so obviously taking these jobs with zero understanding of the long-term frustrations of the fan base. Yes, it's become clear that they're relying heavily on an owner who's perfectly happy with endless losing and the absence of accountability that brings. But it says a great deal, all of it extremely negative, about their basic intelligence, that they've approached their jobs as if there was no need whatsoever for any semblance of urgency. Every year, they act as if they're writing on a blank slate. They're in their 6th year of miserable failure, quite apart from the decades of near constant failure the fan base has had to put up with. And yet they seem to think one little hot streak will make everything okay. How could they not have expected the hostility they're facing now? On top of all the problems this team has, in my opinion, the people running the clown show are quite stupid in far more than just a baseball sense. I love Wilbur. I have no response to that. Lou gets us done for the day. Lou says, "This could be an ugly trip, DK. The Angels are playing better. Mike Trout's having a great year again. Dodgers are the Dodgers. The best the Pirates can hope for out there is 1-5 between those two opponents. If they go 0-6 and it gets Shelton and Cherington fired, here's to an 0-6 trip." That's the environment, Lou. That's what Cutch is talking about. Not criticizing, talking about. He's trying to find a way to function within it. And I say to that, there's no reason for him to have to find that way. Get rid of at least some of the problem and let these guys play without that weight. Not to mention, ideally, with infinitely better guidance, as Wilbur pointed out. Oh, and right bleeping now, as Joseph pointed out. Let's get together again tomorrow, everybody.